And so it's a slow step forward, slowly communicating and bringing people together. The biggest problem are artists who work in the established art groups, because they still very much have, you know, in the contemporary art understanding still very active in Switzerland. The interventionist approach is well accepted. As an artist, you go into the field, you bring it there, but the main aim is your artwork. It's not I mean, you want to bring change, but it's only acclaimed work if the end product is artwork, and the whole approach is artwork centered. So this is something that I think we have to refrain from. There can be artworks, and artworks can play several roles in various disciplinary fields. But when we work with art in social settings, I think the end goal is the changes in that particular local setting. So there I go step by step. I try to make visible what we do and leave it open for everyone to join at various stages. I don't know, did I answer your question, Jay, with that? Your question, sorry.
Yeah, I think so. This kind of situation where it's always very open and negotiating, and it depends on a lot on reciprocity and all that. There is never a moment where it's concrete. It's always in a transition, because you don't know what happened tomorrow. The person may change their mind, and then it's always an ongoing process. So my question is just to try to understand at some point whether we can understand what we are facing for, because I can see from Zurich, Switzerland, you have a lot of resource. Whereas, for example, in Myanmar, it's nothing. And it's not like Hong Kong, they have a Arts Development Council. In Malaysia, again, nothing. We all have to get the resources ourselves to go forward, to move forward. So it's always some understanding in that. That's what you discuss as local, because you work in Indonesia also, and you understand what in Indonesia is again. And also, for example, our participant, our speaker from Malaysia and from Myanmar, they more or less belong not to the dominant group. So in our discussion also later, maybe next week, we can also look at this power relationship. How does the public see them, because they don't belong to the dominant group and they do this kind of activities? And then it's no longer just the artist group working with the target group audience, but they also have to negotiate with the dominant structure for at that moment at their society. Is there any other question?
Yes, I would like to ask. Okay, thank you so much to all three presenters. I found it very interesting to listen to all the presentations, not just today, but also last week. And, you know, it really seems to really draw out the kind of situations that we are all in, no matter how small or big, that we are all trying to find our own way to do things that are possible. You know, and I've lived in Myanmar, so thank you, Nora, for your presentation. You know, perhaps it's very difficult for us to really be able to fully engage with each and every particular case, because each and every practice is so different. I'm very mindful that the bigger idea here for us to all come together is to think about how to forge resilience and mutual independence. And it's a very admirable and a very important topic, but it's so big. So I really think it's very good that Jay has come up with this 3-session thing. And I hope before the next session, I would send some questions actually to everyone, to try to draw out certain very basic questions that maybe we could all try to answer in order to think how we can help each other to forge resilience. But one thing that, because my own practice with Jay before also has really, we've gone to so many places and we have tried to find out what's possible, to practice. And I'm always very discouraged about the kind of platforms that you can find. So it's basically platforms and funding, right? Because we all need that. Like Irene has created her own platform, Kang has created his own platform. It's so encouraging to really listen and to hear about these. But we are making very small kind of impact also, with our individual platforms that we create. But we should not be discouraged at small. But I'm thinking in comparison, like when nations and politicians and governments do it, they can collaborate on such a global level and they can create such massive platforms, that we as public art practitioners or art for change practitioners, we have not been able to do this, and so I'm very encouraged listening to Dominic, it's like, how do we do this on a more global and local, scale? How do we come together to create these kind of conditions that we can help each other make a bigger impact, So that's just something to tell you that, I've really listened to all of you and I really thank all of you for your presentations, and I'll be writing with my questions, to start next week's discussions. Thank you.
Does anyone want to say something to that before we go on to our next question? Our next question comes from Kang. He's asking Dominic whether Flow, Flux, or Maya have any methods to give to response to international affair incident. For example, responding to the issue, the civil war now happening in Myanmar, or the recent one in Hong Kong that come out from 2019, and then now the national security law. Yeah, Dominic, hard question for you.
Yeah, actually, maybe can I share? Let me open a web page. But it hasn't got a very attractive big picture. But let me show you just here, this one. So that's actually one project that we do at the moment. It's together with Susie Law, district politician in Hong Kong. Irene, is it district or how do you call it?
District.
Yeah,
district councillor.
Okay. So we have some books that we received from Hong Kong, and well, I mean, actually, Kang, yes, I'm very open to all your suggestions on what we can do. So this is my first response. Please let us know what you think is worthwhile and how we can raise questions and how we can contribute. So one is keeping the topics of Hong Kong and publications that published social issues, democratic issues, issues of perspectives and views of what is happening. And we want to slowly spread the word through including many people here in our local situation in Zurich. So we will ask people to read the book, to come up with a short statement, what they think about the book. It can be very personal, or it can be more in summarizing. And then we will invite someone from Hong Kong to correspond what the person has been saying about the book. So it's through reading together and discussing these topics that we would like to create awareness on what is going on. And as I said, I'm very happy for any other ideas that you have. What we don't have is money. We, like Irene, we always subsidize. So I'm teaching at university, and with the money I earn, I subsidize the work that I do in Flux. But when we can come in with our personal labor, or sometimes it's also possible project related to go for fundraising, as I've been saying with Map Tour. So I'm all yours. Please share your ideas with me, how we can contribute.
Thank you, Dominic. Actually, I don't have any suggestions. I just raise the questions. And we are talking about international connection, but there's nothing we can do to show solidarity with our friends from Myanmar. Yeah, I just feel very helpless.
Yeah, about the situation in Myanmar, most artists will just do a work in their own country to bring attention to what happened in Myanmar. That's the most common thing they do. But those who have connection, wherever we have the chance, we do something with the Myanmar artists we know inside Myanmar, and then through them also we make some donation to help with the immediate issue that deal with food and all that. So that is the next level. Of course, if you are young, not like me, I'm quite old. If you want to have exciting adventure, you can go to the border of Thailand and go inside Myanmar. There's many way I know because I have many friends. I have many friends who been passing through this border in the last 20 years. When one went to Hong Kong to study journalism, one just stay in Thailand and wait for his visa to go to America. So there's many ways. If you are adventurous, you can get inside Myanmar and also help to fight. So those are the radical thing, because if you don't understand the language, then it's a bit difficult for you. But there are many ways, but just focusing on the issue in Myanmar and doing it outside your country is very good enough. I think that's the first step. And a small gesture that you can do, like Kang, you can hang. You have a lot of front space in your place. People pass your place a lot. You can hang some poster there and all that. But I think we can all find small gesture or to collaborate. Like I thought I discussed with you, I'm trying to ask some of the young Vietnamese artists that I know, that I work with, I come into contact with in the last few years, to see whether they can come to you in Johor, in Malaysia, to work with your project with the Vietnamese woman. Because here, I'm very interested to see when someone who speaks their mother tongue, as your project has to deal with a different level of languages, the dominant language of the country, the society, the dominant language of the family, the Vietnamese women are married into, and then how they how they deal with the dominant structure. These are the things that I find very interesting to work in your project. And I also think if we find the right person, we can get some small funding to cover the transport and all that. But I think we are just waiting for opportunity. Like in Hong Kong, we are waiting for some news from the Arts Council to see whether they will accept the next application from Irene to do a public art project. If she is successful in that, then I also will be able to go to Hong Kong again since 2019.